Go. We are live. Hello and welcome to not Australian Transformers Weekly. This week we are filling in with an off the rails episode. Finishing
Freeballing
off, freeballing it. It's the return of our holiday series, Off the Rails, and we've been a year gone since episode 10. But on this week's show, we're going to be discussing a little bit of Titans Return, episode 7, thanks to Chris. The Hasbro fan meetup in Sydney, which should have been removed because Mike is not here. Our favourite releases of 2017 and much more.
And 2007, just for fun.
Yeah.
If anyone can remember what was released that year.
07.
That was like the first movie line, wasn't it?
I do like my old deluxe swindle.
Oh, nice. And as a special presentation, we're all going to sing Deck the Halls at the end. A little Christmas carol.
Yep. And John will be nude for the entire song.
All in perfect sync. It might sound like it's being played by audio track. And our lip syncs might look off, but I guarantee you, legit.
I was going to say, with our frame rates, I don't think we'll be doing anything.
Making Time Return look good.
Yeah, I'd have to auto sync it at the end, auto tune just to make it sound decent. But no, this is episode 11, recorded live on the eve of Christmas, 22nd of December 2017. I'm Brad Ostron Prime, and joining to me tonight we have return host John up in Queensland.
Ooh, I'm the host. Get ready.
Hello, sir. Welcome back.
It's going to be a wild ride. No, it's good to be back, So I've been pretty busy lately, but it's always good to have a chat.
Unfortunately, you dealt the wrong end of the hammer with the daylight saving stuff, but
yeah, we're still backwards here.
Yeah.
Hot diggity damn.
It's like 7 o'clock at night, and I walk outside, and it's still bright. It still looks like it's 4 in the afternoon. I'm like, man, so wrong.
That's summer though.
Summer, though.
Also up there in the great sunny north, Chris joining us again to counter the New South Wales heavy regulars to bring us a Queensland maroon.
Queensland
duo.
Yeah, Queenslanders represent.
Oh boy!
Yep.
The
Gold Coast Titans return. Thanks for having me back on, guys. It's always a pleasure. I've got some pretty intense work commitments lately, so I don't know when you'll see my beautiful face again, but it's nice to jump on board. As far as what's been going on with me, I've had some hectic couple of weeks. I got engaged last weekend, so signed my life away there. So
nice work.
And I've got a new job, and it involves a lot of graveyard shifts and lots of fun like that. But just been security. So I get to drive around at night and make sure nobody's
scare all the
doing naughty things. That's it. Done, kids, get out of my car park. I'm actually working in bus security, so we work really closely with the bus drivers. Unfortunately, a few of them have been attacked. One guy actually got murdered last year, so there's sort of a new security task force that we drive around and patrol.
Murder bus drivers.
Well, that's one of the perks of the job. But we drive around in patrol cars, and if
low profile.
They've got dramas, we respond, and but it's pretty intense. But I'm doing it for the Transformers.
Keeping the beat when the
he could have chose to say kids, but he said Transformers instead. That's dedication.
Yeah, that's it. And I actually have a kid. That goes to show you, where my priorities lie.
And returning from the blacked out state of South Australia, Max, you've been jet setting, so you haven't even been there. Welcome back from London, sir.
Thank you. I was back from London last week, but we'll get that.
What?
Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
doing
on the
alright.
plane, did it look like you were just like flying into a land of darkness on your way home? Like just, just approaching nothing, like you're in this land of light and just approach a little spot of nothingness. Like, get the
Yeah.
follow.
No, I landed during the day, so I got to arrive and
Natural light.
find out that there was no lights inside the airport. There we go.
How's that
Nice.
battery going for you?
It's good. I feel like old Muskie's getting his, doing an all right job.
Oh no,
Old
job's over. He
Muskie.
got the money. He got the money. He's run. Anyway, you I don't know how to proceed now because were you on last week?
Yeah, I was on last week.
Oh shit. Okay, so there's no point asking you what you brought back from London, apart from
cold.
scurvy and the cold.
The
and
plague. No, they call it the plague in London.
John, you've
Bring out your dead.
yeah, man. John, you've been doing some customizing work.
Yeah, I've been. I mean, well, I've been taking on more jobs than I have working so far because I had compressor problems. It sort of was a cheap Chinese one on eBay, and it, so let's say, blew up, and also experienced some user technical difficulty maybe at my end. But yeah. So then I needed an upgrade anyway. Like, so I've like bought a new compressor. I've got all that set up, and so now I've just been setting up my toy, or sacrificing half my toy room, should I say? So. All that wall there used to have all Gundams and Final Fantasy stuff on it and everything, and now it's just my Detolfs again. Back in here, there's all the Transformers and stuff.
The pleasure room.
But yeah, I'm going to be doing another custom for Decepticon or Leonard, like for another MMC repaint. It's another TFCon masterclass, which is the Tigertron figure. So that's what it will be. It will be Tigertron, but it's the MMC Nova Prime, and so yeah, it just has a different. Let's see if it comes in focus there. Little head. It's made out of clear like there, but it can just pop off or slide out. So it's just this
Nice.
clear face.
Oh, yep.
But yeah, it's pretty accurate from what I've seen of Tigertron. It looks pretty good. And so yeah, it'll just be the same body and all painted up as Tigertron colors, which I'm looking forward to doing. And then I've got a few customs also for us Queensland State Rep here, Christopher, who wants a Decepticon throne, and also some repaints on a Bruticus G2 colors. But which Bruticus is it again? It's
Fall of Cybertron.
Fall of
But it's got the Boostercus upgrade kit.
Yeah, I've got him.
Yeah,
he's in that box like over there, probably like. Yeah, he's wrong way. He's in that box there, that long box. Like, so I think those other boxes are actually sitting on the red foot piece. That's why they're a little elevated. Because I brought it in here thinking, all right, I'll get that done soon. Like, so they needed to really set the room up better. So I've put in a portable air conditioner so it can be cooler in here when I'm sitting in here spraying and stuff. So yeah, that's
a bit of airflow and ventilation as well would be good.
Yeah, like I've got a
breathing in those paint fumes.
No, yeah, I've got a little like paint catcher thing that vents all the paint fumes, and that the air compressor is really good with that. Like it doesn't actually give you much fumes off, like, but I've still got gas mask and everything to do it all proper.
So John, with your custom work you're doing for Leonard, I noticed the last one wasn't a sort of like a Cybertron Optimus Primal.
It's
that you did for him?
I did. It's the same body, the exact same figure.
Yeah, like I got the impression it's supposed to be Optimus Primal before he got his beast mode sort of thing. So
I'm not sure. Like I think it's just MMC were just doing it like for
I'm just curious to see the link between your new project, Tigertron, and your last one was Optimus Primal. I can see this sort of
it is a Beast Wars theme, I think. Yeah, like they're just pumping it out for the Beast Wars fans at the TF Con as a special sort of thing. And just you buy just the other plain MMC Nova Prime, and you go there, and that's normally when you get the parts, like, and they give you the parts, and then you can paint it, and like
they sort of ape the BotCon custom class thing.
And
you buy like a base figure, and then they give you a tutorial on how to do it.
Sweet, yeah, yeah, because I have the class there. Like, no, I haven't done that. Like, but MMC shared my last work on their page for the so you know, hopefully
awesome.
hopefully this one will be good enough to make it on their page again. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Nice.
I'm pretty confident. Like, so it'll be
Yeah,
fun.
no, you do good work, mate. You do good work, and I'm sure it'll look lovely.
Yeah.
Nice work. Nice work on that stuff.
So yeah, if anyone in the club, whatever wants work, just PM me. You know, we'll work it out.
He'll put you on a long list.
Yeah, someone's going to be getting a G2 Pyro done out of KO oversized hot shot or hotspot, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, that looks sick. That'd look really nice.
I reckon it's going to look good from what I've seen then of the figure, like the original G2 figure. Yeah, it'll be a nice job.
Pyro's, is he the Is he one of the dudes from
yellow,
Defensor?
like, and black, like lines on the back, and he opened up and had like missiles and like.
He was like
he's the one who
that weird European line, wasn't he?
Yeah, or like I think the one the ones that's got like gold arms or gold plastic parts on it. Like,
he's
part of that I think I know the one.
Late G1 era.
Yeah,
almost G2.
And they like experimented by releasing chunks of it in Europe only, and that's when you got like Clench and all that, isn't it? Like, random characters that never actually showed up anywhere else.
Transformers has a lot of that going on.
It does indeed.
Very nice. Shall we proceed into? We've got a couple of regular points here to get through before we get to some of the off-topic stuff. Firstly, put your bot to work. Last week, of course, Mikey won on the show. We done the live draw for that. The fan poll went up this week, and winner was number 22, Rob Kindleside with his Pepsi Prime in the Pepsi fridge.
Vending machine.
Obviously, bit of a love there for.
That was a good shot.
G1 stuff, which was very surprising because the whole reason we split off to have a fan vote and a random number vote was because we thought one post in particular was going to win outright, but it never got a vote this time. So
it should have just been Pepsi bottles, though.
Hindsight's 2020, mate.
Yeah.
Captain Hindsight strikes again.
Why is it Pepsi Max? Maybe like.
Let's not nitpick.
I just. So I like the picture. I think it's actually.
I'm friends with Rob. And I'll be telling him exactly what you said, mate.
Well, hopefully he can watch this. It's recorded. It's not like I'm hiding this.
Yeah, as if anyone watches this, John. Come on, mate.
Max, did you have a favourite? Max, did you have a favourite that you posted?
Favourite from the put your bot to work.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say mine.
What? Do you remember what week it was?
No, I've got no idea. I'm just joking around.
I was going to say I could find it.
No.
There it is.
It was gold.
Yeah, I went to it, but the link in the run sheet wasn't working for me.
What's he playing
with?
What sort of device is that?
He's making donuts.
Oh, sick.
And I was happy too because mine got 2 votes, so I was happy.
Which one was yours?
The
Bruticus.
The advertised Bruticus. Yeah. So that was good. Rob, you've got a, as we discussed in the pre-show, you've got a leader overlord from Titan's Return on its way to you now. Australia Post being what Australia Post is. Please don't expect that before the new year. Let's keep this positive. Titans Return episode 7 is also released this week.
Spoilers.
Hey,
it's
man,
fine.
hang on. Let me just say, John is an admin on the Decepticon Military Network, and we post those like the day they come out, man. You got no excuse.
Yeah, no.
Your
I've
own
had
page posts
no,
them.
I've had a hectic 2-3 weeks. So.
Well,
There's always time for Transformers.
being the new voice, John, have you caught up to season 7, or where are you at with?
No,
the model?
I think I saw I think I've only seen episode 1 to 3, but like I enjoyed everything I saw, to be honest. So
Yeah. Yep.
yeah. No, we can talk all about it though. But yeah, because I'm quite keen to see what's been going on.
All right, Chris. What do we have in 7? What do you like?
Well, I think the big thing for me about episode 7 was okay. So we spoke briefly about it in the pre-show chat, but even though I've sort of become like this advocate for Titan's Return, I'm not beyond criticism of it. Like I know that there's some things wrong with it and stuff, but overall, in general, I think it's a fantastic series and I'm really enjoying it. But I have to say the last sort of maybe 3, maybe even 4 episodes, it just keeps getting better and better for me. They just really seem to have kicked it into the next gear, and it's getting crazier and crazier. What with Overlord coming in, Triptychon, putting the smackdown on Metroplex. Like,
yeah, sweet.
Yeah. They sort of they let us know that pretty early on, and it's sort of
like I knew he was.
I don't know.
Just checking, is he still in there? Like he hasn't.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is they haven't really gone anywhere with that yet. It's still quite well known. Like I think the only real thing is a couple of other characters have gone.
Like, I'm like, awesome, Starscream, Ghost, and rocking Triptychon.
Well, now I think the only sort of progression in that storyline is that a few other characters in the series have now gone, hey, that's not Triptychon, that's Starscream. And had that realization. So beyond that, though, they haven't really pushed that storyline forward. But the really great thing about this episode that we just had is, and sorry for the spoilers, John.
No, tell me.
At the end,
quite keen to hear what you.
Yeah, at the end, they finally reactivate Fortress Maximus. Fortress Maximus transforms into his robot form, and big shock for me, starts flying. I didn't know he could fly.
So where was he hiding?
Just somewhere else.
Well, basically, okay, so
somewhere on Cybertron.
Yeah, Triptychon has, for all intents and purposes, defeated Metroplex. Metroplex got his ass handed to him. So he's down. So they kind of suggest he's dead, but who knows, in a show like this, he might not be. But yeah, for all intents and purposes in the story at this stage, he's dead as a doornail. But they sort of rush off to see if they can get Fortress Maximus cranking.
Oh, well, you're dead. Let's go. Ahoy!
And then I have to say, he's got to be the best looking character model in the series so far. He looks amazing. Like he just, I don't know, he just pops. Yeah, Fort Max. He just looks awesome. I
think it's the colours on him. Like he's really well saturated.
Yeah,
and
that's
again,
it.
it's another case of the figure, the actual toy being on screen. As we've said before,
it looks like the toy.
And it's sort of follow on the similar lines to what we say in the Unicron trilogy, with just scanning the toy and animating that toy model, and just having him float through the air, or like fly through the air. His only real boosters are in his feet, but he's sort of Iron Manning through this.
Yeah, that's
without the hands.
To me, it's sort of I don't know. It seemed like a vague reference to the fact that in so many G1 episodes, for no reason, some of the Transformers would just fly. Yeah, they wouldn't even show depth.
There's an episode when they're on surfboards in the ocean, man, and then the oil rig crashes, and then they're swimming. Like Optimus is like, "Here, grab on." I'm like, "How are you swimming? You're like a truck, man." And he's just like, "Yeah, but that's sort of my point." I'm like, sometimes they fly, sometimes they swim, sometimes they surf. Like, do what they want.
But this isn't flying like Superman, like his front half isn't leaning forward.
Yeah, basically,
we don't know what its gravity's like.
Well, basically, I think Brad nailed it by saying it's very Iron Man. He's basically just got boosters in his feet, and he sort of just like hovers in a standing position and sort of moves forward. sort of thing.
I'll
But-
admit, when you said he was flying, I pictured him transformed in a fortress flying along, so that's pretty depressing.
Well, yeah. At least it's space cruiser mode.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I mean, it did clear up a few things for me, which is really weird because one of them was a throwback to the end of Combiner Wars. At the end of Combiner Wars, Windblade turns around and does the big dramatic thing of the Titans are returning, and then they cut to a scene of a nondescript, unnamed Titan's face and his eyes open. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, Metroplex. And then after seeing Metroplex in Titan's Return, thinking, well, that clearly wasn't Metroplex. Maybe it was just just some animation that they were going to use, or I don't know. But when you see Fort Max transforming, it's his face. So that sort of cleared that up. That face you see at the end of Combiner Wars was actually Fortress Maximus, which still doesn't make sense because he wasn't awake back then anyway. But he's only just woken up now. But yeah, this series is getting better and better. I'm actually really keen to see what Overlord's done with Hot Rod. You're in, John. There was an amazing scene where Overlord comes into the show and kicks ass.
I'm just picturing Pulp Fiction.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, there was a very GIMP-like beatdown. But there is a scene. It was in the end of episode 6. We haven't seen anything on it again in episode 7. They're obviously going to come back to it. But basically, Overlord beats the shit out of Hot Rod,
Awesome.
and then he does something to him. He does something to him. He's sort of like, he makes mention of, I'm going to change. Well, perhaps, we don't know yet. It's a strange planet.
We don't know their customs.
But he sort of says something about, I'm going to change your paint and or you're going to love this or something. He's sort of like this glowing light, and he presses it on a beaten up Hot Rod. And there's a lot of fan theories going around. One of them being that Hot Rod's going to go Nemesis. Yeah, he's going to go the whole Unicron Rodimus thing. I'm keen to see what happens.
He always existed years ago, so he was there. And the Rodimus model clearly is that model. Like, it is that design.
Well, I thought it would make sense, being that Power of the Primes has the Rodimus Unicronus coming out, which is basically, shattered glass Hot Rod, with the armor add-on and everything. But yeah, who knows? It could be totally wrong there, but that just seems to be something. He's doing something weird with him, and I think he's going to turn him into some kind of nemesis.
But he wasn't shattered glass.
I'd imagine that's going to be part of the lead-in to the Power of the Prime series that they'll do.
Yeah, so you might not see the full transformation until the end of the series, but then it's sort of, that's going to the stepping stone into Power of the Primes and what we get from there. So,
see, I'm not looking forward to that series because it's just going to have all weird power armor shifting crap
and time travel.
Yeah, I'll be like, oh no, but like all this so far has been pretty good.
And the original 13 Primes, who are supposed to be basically demigods, have suddenly decided that they're going to be tiny little Titan Master things for Pretender shells. So,
see how that works out for him. Let's see if it plays off for him.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing there. It seems like they had a gimmick-gasm at Hasbro headquarters or something. We'll get Pretenders and then we'll get the Thor and we'll shove them all together. And it's like,
but then in their defense, it's like, we've only seen Emissary as the only headmaster in this, so maybe they'll calm it down in the next one.
Yeah.
But I would have liked if they just redid Pretenders, but like new. But so like still the shells like those size, but then nice cool robots inside and that. Like, I was really looking forward to it when I heard they were doing
it. And even like, like modernized, better detailed Pretender shells. Like that, I would have been happy with that. And when I first saw that one, the Liege Maximo, who uses because that's the other thing, they call them like they name them after the 13 Primes, but the shells that they use are like other characters from the Pretenders. So like Liege Maximo is Skullgrin, and when I saw the teaser shot of Skullgrin's Pretender shell for Power of the Primes, I was actually pretty stoked. I was like, hell yeah, we're getting Pretenders again. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the way they're. It's like, either
It'll
do
be
Pretenders or don't do them.
Well,
It'll be
the
Like
other
don't
interesting
thing
to
mix them.
is, it might make sense from a story perspective, but in the case of what they're doing, they've made no indication as to whether or not, okay, this is Skullgrin or this is Liege
Yeah.
Maximo.
Well,
just
it's going to be
the
interesting
Yeah,
to see
yeah.
because they're using the toy models, so that's what
Mm.
if they
It's
put
like,
them in
it's
there.
just Liege Maximo dressed up as Skullgrin. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, or did
they
he
are
steal
pretenders, so-
Skullgrin's
Or
Pretender
did they
shell? But
take them?
like,
Yeah, did they take them over to disguise themselves or something for ages? Who knows?
but the Liege Maximo is like he's on the same power level as the Fallen.
Goku?
Like so. Yeah, it's over 9,000. But but what I don't get about that is like, why would one of the 13 go? And now I've got a Pretender shell. So I mean, that's a huge step down in power level. You know what I mean? It's like I'm pretty
they're
sure.
run by guys on Blow in the Hasbro headquarters, and that's why.
Yeah, I don't know. I see the Pretenders actually has a pretty like solid fan base, even though they were sort of hated at the time. I mean, you got characters like Bludgeon and Thunderwing who are like fan favorite icons now that started off as Pretender shells, and like there is a lot of love for them there. So I don't know. It kind of annoys me the way they're dicking around with them and actually taking established characters and saying, "Oh, he's him now. He's not actually."
That's my point. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I prefer to either just go all in with the Pretenders or not do them at all.
yeah, because like they've done the combiners and they're pretty good, remodern G1 takes of it, and then the same with like the Titans Return, like they've done, Fortress Maximus and
and all the headmaster characters, they did it well.
And even the Power of the Primes figures, like the Power Master Prime and that, like they're all pretty good. Like when you do look at the G1 and see what it's turned into. That's why I just think what happened with the Pretenders then? Like which dude did like a whole bunch of drugs that day and got okay? No one checked in. Like everyone else thought he's fine, and then he just came back with all this stuff, and they're like, man, it's too late now. Like, shit. Like, they just went, oh, fuck it, we've got to go with it. Because it just doesn't make sense to me why it's so not off, compared to everything else. It's just not on the source.
Especially given, it looked like they were going to go through, the main gimmicks of G1. It's like, okay, we've done Combiners, done Headmasters. So you think, okay,
what's next?
They'll devote the
That's right, the Headmasters.
It feels like they'll devote a lot.
They wouldn't dare. They wouldn't dare do Action Masters again. That nearly killed. I don't think even they're that stupid to go down that route again, because I mean, you look up on the wiki, like that's basically until Beast Wars came along, the Action Masters gimmick basically killed the franchise.
On its way out. Yeah, but it was on its way out before it got to that. That was the nail in the coffin, but the coffin was already being built.
I can't even think what Action Masters are, so
they're Transformers that don't transform.
Well, posable action.
They're just
figures.
robots.
Yeah, posable action figures, and their alt modes were actual vehicles. So it was almost a blend with Mask or something, but.
Yeah, it was a very G.I. Joe kind of thing, because you got like play sets that were like a big tank, and then Megatron and Soundwave and that sat in the tank.
Oh, yeah, I know them.
None of them could actually transform. It was just, they were just normal toys, which I get why there was such a backlash. It's like, well, don't call them Transformers then. Call them Robot Men. Or, you know what I mean? Like, they're not Transformers if they don't transform.
I got Optimus Prime for Christmas in 92 or 93, and I loved it.
Yeah, but you're Statue Boy.
Oh, well, that's why it stems from. Anyway, getting back to Titans Return, I do have two slight nitpicks, and I swear these won't be bad. Hopefully,
it's off the rails. Let it go.
Yeah,
yeah. You are allowed to criticize it.
No, it's just tiny nitpicks. And I said last week I wasn't going to watch it, but curiosity killed the cat, and watch this one. Windblade sitting there and screaming for 15 minutes about being hooked into Fort Max, then dropping down and obviously going through all this pain and saying to shut it off to Preceptor, and then falling to the ground and joking with him about something. I can't recall exactly what it was.
You clearly don't watch a lot of Japanese cartoons, do you?
Oh, no.
It's pretty normal to me.
I have the exact same thought. I'm like, Is this fucking? Is this done?
Anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got I know. I watch Dragon Ball Z, and I know in a week's worth of TV, rushing to the bus stop, I probably missed 20 minutes of the weekly show, and I'd seen those 20 minutes in the follow-up episode. So,
well, see, this is the thing, Brad. This is what I was trying to say about, like, I'm not, because I enjoy the show, it doesn't mean I'm immune to criticism. And one of my hugest criticisms of Titan's Return is Windblade. I hate the character. I hate the way they make her the center of everything. I hate the way they add all this bullshit importance that she's never had in anything else.
She's definitely trying to force it. You know?
Yeah, she's the city speaker, and she's the one who can wake up Titans, and she can do this, and she can, and before that she was, the combiners are real. I'm going to run around and kill every combiner, and when Optimus takes me to meet Megatron, the first thing I'm going to do is smack him in the face, like. I just hate her character. Like, she's such a pain in the ass, and I just wish they removed her as the protagonist and just kept it traditional and had either Optimus or Hot Rod or somebody who's good at being a hero.
It pissed me off to no end in one of the last couple episodes when they had like Emissary say to Win. She was like talking about her relationship with other characters. And then Emissary calls Windblade. He's like, "Oh, you're a bit of a fan favorite, aren't you?" I'm like, "No, fuck off."
Oh yeah,
this is no
that was
favorite
cringe.
Character.
That was such self-serving bullshit. Like, I mean, Hasbro, pull your tongue out of your own ass. Like, that's
nudge, wink, wink. That's don't you?
We've had
See, but that's the thing is, it's only her character in this show. It's because they had Windblade in Robots in Disguise, and she was awesome in Robots in Disguise.
Yeah.
I loved her character in that show. But in this, she's just, she's so poxy, and it's cringeworthy half the time. Every scene she's in, you're like, well, this is going to be a shit scene. We're going to wait for something good to happen.
I genuinely don't like any robots that are based off, like, designs of humans, like the fact that she looks sort of like a geisha girl or something, like.
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
Player or something.
Yeah, like I don't, like, no offense to geisha girls, I like them, like, like, I just don't, like, just make it look like a robot, like a female robot. Like, why does it need to look like something in our culture?
Because the movie's done it.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. All those robots that have that sort of stuff, I just genuinely tend not to like. I prefer the ones that just look mechanical and robotic.
But that's the other thing, right? And I will say this about Titan's Return and Combiner Wars for that matter. This is something I'll say in its defense, right? And I think this is just one of those geeky things that happens in a nerdy fandom where people overanalyze things and they expect too much from everything they get. One thing that's really annoyed me about this show is, people don't like the voice of Menasor. I can understand that, right? People didn't like the voice of Overlord. Right now, one of the big, so do I. And one of the big things people say is like, why has he got a southern accent? G1 Ironhide, he speaks like a Texas Ranger. You know what I mean? Like Jazz talks like a scat man from he's a jazz man. Like, and nobody had a problem with that. But as soon as they give one of these characters an accent, they're like, oh, he sounds stupid. Why doesn't it? You know what I mean? And it's like, no, like that makes sense to me that. Overlord, like, why can't he have a southern accent? Why is it okay for Ironhide, but as soon as Overlord's given a southern accent, it's like, oh, that's ridiculous. So as if you do that, like. And the other thing that gets me is, admittedly, I don't like Menasor's voice. He does sound like a bit of a douchebag. But I heard one guy say, "Oh, why did they make him sound like a surfer dude?" And it's like. Well, first of all, I don't know if you've ever met a surfer dude, but they don't sound like that. I think Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles when I think surfer dude accent.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the way he talks, the accent he has. It's obviously an African American playing him, right? And the slang that he uses and stuff like that. To me, it actually makes a lot of sense because of the fact, what's Menasor combined from? Street racing cars. You know what I mean? I think people were expecting the generic, like, Devastator combiner voice or Bruticus combiner voice, just a tough guy sounding voice. But to me, it makes sense. It's like he sounds like one of the dudes from Fast and the Furious. You know what I mean? He uses that same sort of lingo and the same slang. And yeah, he sounds like a douchebag, but that's because those dudes are douchebags, you know. Like, but I don't know. I kind of like read a bit more into that, and I thought that was pretty cool that they sort of put a bit of thought into that. Like, he does sound like one of these guys who gets around in a hotted up rice burner and races around the streets all night. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. I think there's way too much harsh criticism about voice actors and, you know, accents chosen for these characters and stuff. I've got no problem with Overlord. I reckon he sounds like a badass.
We're family.
I haven't actually seen an episode with him in it yet, so I'm yet to hear his voice. So I'll.
And
He basically just has like a southern, like a what's a state?
Texan. He's got
I
a
wouldn't
Texan
say
drawl.
Alabama.
He's got a Texan drawl a little
Because
bit.
a Southern American accent, like, you know,
Yeah.
but it's not too heavy or over the top or anything. It's just, it's there. It's noticeable, you know. Not as heavy or noticeable as Ironhides from G1,
No,
that's for sure.
No, and we might get to it if we don't run over time with a little bit of the Last Jedi talk. Mikey was sort of talking the last couple of weeks about his perception of what he wanted for an Overlord voice. I'm pretty sure I asked then that Overlord hasn't had a voice yet. He's only been in the comics. Can anyone confirm? Was he in any cartoons?
No, he's been in Japanese G1. He was in Super God Master Force, but he wasn't he wasn't a robot. He was two human pilots. So there was a man and a woman. Yeah, and they were Japanese.
Like a man with his balls tied around his ears, so it would have been high pitched anyway. So again, when you haven't, it's all fair and well if you've got an iconic character like Optimus Prime come out, then all of a sudden Gary Chalk does it all. Someone else does it and sort of put their own twist on it. And that's exactly what's happening here. It's been done for 35 years. And not so much in Overlord's case. Okay, if he's had his one go in the Japanese cartoons, that's fine. Again, he's either sounded like a really weird American doing the dub, or he sounds like a high-pitched Japanese or Japanese guy doing it. It's just it's easy to comment on the vocal performances here. One other nitpick I did have was the combined force of the combiners in the form of Victorion when she took on Triptychon and seemed to want to bifurcate him with her sword and just sat there screaming at him saying, "I'm going to destroy you." And he's sitting there going, "Ah!" And
Please
then,
tell me that she got destroyed.
oh, well, he
Yeah,
just
sure. She got flattened.
now
There was actually a pretty cool frame where it shows Triptychon standing on her and like victoriously roaring into the sky, like
repeatedly stomping her into the
Excellent, that's what she deserves.
terrestrial Cybertron. Now, I don't want to go there. I don't want to be that person.
See, now I'd buy one just to recreate that scene with Triptychon.
Yeah, there seems to be
sales have just shot through the roof.
There seems to be a direction here where the fembots are getting absolutely obliterated. Unfortunately, I see them as the weakest part of the series, so I have no issue with that whatsoever. If anyone wants to jump on the feminist movement and say, well, the females are getting treated badly by the male robots.
Yeah, but look at the protagonist. Look at the protagonist of the series is Windblade, and she's the one who ran around chopping everybody up in the first place. Yeah. So if you want to play that card, you got to look at it from all angles, you know.
Yeah. No. I quite. No, go Max. Go, Max.
I was just saying you can't help it. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to just let it slide, even though it's a shit character because it's a female one. You know,
don't worry. There's probably people out there complaining that the females aren't getting the right short of the stick, which doesn't matter.
I just think the most annoying part is okay, so just a very brief rundown for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about. Victorion was given the Enigma of Combination at the end of the Combiner Wars. And she sort of,
for the combiners to be caretakers of.
Now, when Starscream used it at the end of that show, he basically absorbed the bodies of Devastator, Menasor, Victorion, and Computron, and became just a giant Starscream before he imploded on himself and went, you know. But Victorion basically says, I think it was in this episode or the episode before, she basically says that because she is a combiner and the other combiners are combiners, they know how to control that power. So she uses it and becomes a giant Victorion. Now, what annoys me about that is, for all intents and purposes, nothing to do with the enigma of combination, because for all intents and purposes, it's just a giant Victorion. Like Devastator, Computron, Menasor, they've disappeared. It's just a giant glowy Victorion, and I'm pretty certain in this recent episode she actually refers to herself as Victorion in one part.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, you're not, aren't you? Like, aren't you supposed to be like all the other guys as well? Like, if you're a mega combiner made of other combiners, like, you can't just go around saying, well, I'm this one person.
Well,
But I
isn't
don't
that
know.
the thing with Victorion? Isn't she like a special combiner? Like, and that's why.
Yeah, she's a
Yeah,
fan.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
I don't
missing
know,
the.
but in Combiner Wars, it was that I was led to believe that she's not like any of the other combiners. Like,
No,
not
but
any,
they don't
like,
really
Yeah.
explain it, you know.
but
Like,
yeah, I know
you
that's
don't
what
even
I mean.
see. You don't even see any combiners combining for the entire series.
Yeah, exactly. But
Mm.
that's my point. Like that, I think that maybe for intensive purposes in the toys, yeah, they gave them separate names. But maybe she is
I
just
do
Victorion.
know.
Like maybe when even they go into all the vehicles, it's the one entity controlling
I
all
know
of
her
them.
backstory. Her backstory is basically that
I don't care.
component parts were from that. They were from that Caminus planet
From a
of
Hasbro
female
bin, they
Transformers.
just pulled them out and just swacked them all together and went, oh yeah, let's do this, like, whack some paint on
Well,
it.
that's kind of how their story works. Apparently, the Mistress of Flame or whoever's in charge of Caminus, they sent them out looking for the Enigma of Combination because it was lost at one
Yeah,
stage.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
And
something special happened.
when they found it, those chicks that make up Victorian, when they found it, it automatically combined them. Like, they didn't choose to become
Yeah, see, that's
combiners
what
or whatever.
I think it is Victorion is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, but you might
she's
might
something
be
special. Yeah.
Yeah, you might be remembering also the prequel video that came out
I might
before
be.
Combiner Wars started.
Either
where
way,
She goes on about being the savior of the universe, and
that's part of it.
Yeah, and seemingly the leader
very
of the
Voltron,
combiners.
very Voltron-esque.
Yeah. And at the end
Devastator.
of,
Oh god.
yeah, then at the end of Combiner Wars, how she gets the Enigma handed to her. But at least in the end of Combiner Wars, if memory serves me correctly, before we got Super God Starscream at the very end, when he first combined with all the combiners, he actually had each limb was one of the combiners.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
some
That's
sort
right.
of mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that was one of my
They didn't just magically fuse and appear as one giant thing, but yeah.
Yeah, because Devastator becomes a giant Streetwise or
Yeah.
Victoria repaint, whatever the combiner, whatever her bot modes are. But I just love how she tried to sink a big flame sword into Triptychon and screaming and yelling at him that she's going to destroy him, and he's still
he
there.
mopped the floor with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. I like that though. That's staying true to form. People are saying like, what's going on? But at the end of the day, it's Triptychon, man. Like, there's not many Transformers.
It's probably Hasbro also acknowledging that they know that the figure was a flop, so they're like, yeah, look, we'll show that she gets fucked up. That's what'll be interesting to see if sales actually go up, because then people go, yeah, we've got to like now recreate her under Triptychon,
Yeah.
and then they'll be
Yeah,
like,
but
wait, she's
it's
not dead. Then
Triptychon.
they'll be
I like the way they're making Triptychon like just waste everybody.
I think
like,
it's
he's
awesome that he's
Triptychon.
Starscream. I actually want the figure again now. I didn't buy it because like I sold Metroplex and Fort Max, but now knowing that he's Starscream, I'm like, so want it.
You want him to be clear. You want him to be clear red and blue, though.
I'll paint it. Yeah, I'll do it. Like, I'll make him look like Starscream.
No, just get a little Starscream's Ghost Deluxe and sit it on his shoulder. Everyone will get the message. Oh dear.
My thing with that going forward is, if Triptychon as a battle station is so powerful, I don't think Starscream in control is helping.
Starscream won't stay in there. I don't reckon he'll get out.
Yeah, but I don't see how he was destroyed in the first place. He was destroyed in the first place. Yet Prime and Megatron are just sitting there like not offering any insight. They said before we haven't seen any destruction on this level before. So how was he stopped? Did he just laid out. Well, we've seen him in an impact crater in pieces. So
yeah, and he was in pieces. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
But
know.
who knows?
Maybe
Who
he had a
knows?
brawl with Scorponok or something, you know, and they're going to bring him.
Unicron?
Yeah, like maybe that's part of their secret storyline.
Yeah.
Maybe Primus himself rose up and just smacked him down into a crater. You know, like you don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
maybe Triptychon found Starscream's dead body, and his soul went in there, and it all reassembled.
Okay, we're going into some weird territory now.
all right.
This is fanfic now.
Anything else that anyone wants to bring up on Titans Return before we finish out on that? I'm guessing episode 8 will be out on Boxing Day. Or they going
Well, the way I've been uploading them to the military network the day they come out, and I've noticed it tends to change. It's normally on a Tuesday night, but I've noticed the last couple of nights it's been on a Wednesday morning. So, yeah, I don't know what's controlling their scheduling, but I don't think there's any sort of
can you just post them
static
on my wall every time as well, so I get to see them?
Man, I got all of them up there. I got all 7 episodes
all them on
on
a wall on my page, so I'll watch them.
Yeah, I got most of Combiner Wars on there too.
Just the new one
from ages ago, but yeah, they're there.
That looks pretty
Facebook's
nice.
a wonderful thing, man.
All right, moving on. Moving on from that, we got Toy Alliance Mega Action Megatron MAS2. Yep. We got some production photos here, paint photos.
That is so wicked.
It's been delayed. Was supposed to be out this month, but it's been pushed back to February/March.
I might still be able to order one then.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because it's going to be crossing that Chinese New Year. So
yeah, what's unfortunate is I still don't have my mass one that I ordered.
What scale is that?
Big.
Yeah, big. It's like 60. They're like 60 centimeters. Like
50
centimeters.
55.
Oh, wow.
56.
They're bigger than my perfect grade Gundams. Like they're
wow.
The size of your chest, you know, like fucking to your neck, to your like, you know, pants line sort of thing. Big figure.
Nice.
Looks so good too. Like,
yeah.
I don't even care that it can't transform. I just want mass 1 and that mass 2. Don't want any more of them. Don't want the black one like the.
What was that, Max?
Repaint. Like, I just want those two just going at it, doing the punch to each other or hitting each other in the face.
Oh, just that on one side and the Prime on the other side. Just
but doing the whole, you know, like both punching each other, like in the face, right? Like it'd just be so good because they're fully, you know, composed. Looks like he's in Street Fighter there. Right.
I haven't got him. It's too big. It's too big for my shelf. Max, did you get Mass 1?
What was it you just held up before, Max? We've got no audio for you, Max.
Mute button.
Right.
Yeah, that's
sorry.
That probably makes sense why I thought you haven't spoke for so long.
Oh, shit. Given our post with these larger figures, just doing even more subtle poses comes off as a lot more impactful on the shelf.
Yeah.
Just because of the sheer size of it. So when something that size is going to be this poseable, it's going to look insane on your display.
Have them as door greeters in your house, like him and Optimus, like they walk in, like hello.
Inside.
As soon as I walk in the door, as soon as they walk in the door, you hear, "You fool!" But I don't know. It brings up a pretty interesting point, though. One of the things I base pretty much my entire collection around is scale. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. And
it's just like I said,
there's certain figures I would just never touch just because they just don't fit in with my display. Like they don't fit in with the scale that I work with.
Optimus and Megatron, you could put anywhere in your house somewhere without your collection, just by themselves, where there's no other figures.
Yeah, true.
Like one on, on each other, and it's then people will be like, "Sick, that looks awesome."
It'd be just like anyone coming.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be just like anyone coming into the masterpiece line now. We'll get MP10, get MP36. Just if you want representations of the original characters, but they both are. If you can find them, get them too, and that'll do.
If you want one that's about the size of a 3 or 4 year old child, get that.
Now, there was a little bit of contention with Megatron to start with because the Prime was so G1 sort of cartoon looking, whereas this has got a lot of the pistons, a lot of added stuff.
But it's still a gun, like.
Oh yeah, can you imagine if he transformed?
Oh, stupid.
Yeah, he'd be bigger than MP5.
If it transformed, I feel like it might be able to circumvent, replica gun laws just because of the sheer size of it.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
If they ain't a replica ones, it's like twice as big or something.
You definitely need a tripod.
Yeah, but it's not down to the size or the look. Those
That's what she said.
laws are stupid, man. Well, it's like my son has a toy pirate flintlock pistol, and it's clearly it's too big. It's like clearly made of plastic. You could see it in the dark 100 meters away, and you'd know it's not a real gun. But they still put the orange cap on it. You know what I mean? Like they're just. I think they're super anal about that stuff. I think you'd still have an issue with it, even with something that big. Like they're just. If it even smells or looks.
That's it. I had earlier in the year. I showed a cap gun. It's a 9mm cap gun. It's just got the orange cap on it, which I've taken off. So, but it just
it's silly.
Yep. So this is coming out in March now, by the looks of it. So hopefully,
late again.
Hopefully, most of them get put in their box before the end of Chinese New Year, when everyone's just more interested in getting out of the factory and throwing stuff together. Otherwise, there might be some QC issues here. But yeah, I'll turn off. Oops, stop that.
Oh.
All right. Before we close out, we're just going to have a bit of a look back on 2017
and 2007.
And 2007.
Tell you the truth,
like it's 1999.
I can't even think at all what happened in that year or what age I was or anything. That's pretty bad.
Mm.
The first movie.
It was 10 years ago.
I was talking about 2017.
Oh,
he's a tricky.
Okay, yeah.
Max, what's a couple of your favourite figures of the year?
Well, speaking of 2007, this is one of only two.
Brings it out of the past.
I bought literally this guy and Titans Return Sea Spray this year. And that's it for official figures I bought at release this year. But MPM Bumblebee, we've talked about him on the show before. He's not perfect, but he's still one of the
He's the most posable Bumblebee I've seen that looks like the movie figure.
Yeah, he's he's one of the only ones with ankle tilts or waist swivel or anything like that. He's just insanely accurate and.
I bought my flatmate one, but he hasn't opened it. Sucks, drives me mental. I want to play with it.
It's so nice.
I thought it would have made the Bumblebee shelf.
It's there on the box. In the box.
It's everything from that, the chest compression, the die cast, all of that.
And he's the hand. There's actually a hand, isn't there, in the cannon that can actually come out or whatever is there or something?
Yeah, like I could.
You
sort of just clip the cannon over the top.
Yeah, cool. No, but that's still sweet that it can go either cannon or hand. Where
does Max does he have the Does he have the flip down battle mask from the movie?
Yeah, you sort of pull the top of his head and then.
Ooh.
Always falls off on me.
Give it a rub.
Anyway, you sort of open up the top of his head, then you pull it out. But mine
Crazy.
falls off because it's a factory reject version. So.
Okay.
It's just nicked off the factory floor.
Because I always thought he looked way cooler with that battle mask than without.
Yeah.
Just because it covers that face.
It just looks sick though. It looks he looks a bit like there's reminiscent of Boba Fett or something. I don't know.
And
Yeah, I don't think you do know.
There we go. I had 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm not functioning properly.
Oh, that's
There,
not
that's
bad.
my mask.
There
Yeah,
it
that
is.
looks
Oh,
sweet.
cool. Yeah, that is cool.
And nothing like Boba Fett.
And he's in and he's in scale with like the other MP cars, eh? Like if you put him next to the Corvettes and the Lamborghinis and stuff.
Yeah, and it's
Except
especially
Barricade.
cool if you get him up with that unique toys Perry kill, because then the way that figure compresses, he like scales with him. So he's about the same size in vehicle mode, but in robot mode, he's like way shorter than Perry kill.
Yeah,
He's as tall. Perikill's about as big as, or bigger than the Revenge of the Fallen Prime, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah, he's like dead. He's like a leader size robot mode that compresses into a deluxe size vehicle mode.
yeah, no, it's awesome.
It's nuts.
Nice.
And what's your second
And yeah,
figure?
most of this year I've just been buying third party stuff because that's where I think it's at. So that's the Make Toys Thunder Erebus and Iron Factory Seekers.
Oh, you got the Acid Storm? I'm after
Yeah,
that
I've got the whole set. I've just
Jeez.
got the first couple and fell in love with them.
And they're the ones that
Is
they
that,
gave you the
is
extra
that
bits.
slip?
Sorry, yeah, were they the ones that gave you
yeah,
the
so-
extra pieces to build Acid Storm or Sunstorm or someone?
Yeah, Acid Storm was Singapore Comic Con exclusive, I think. So he just comes.
They only made like, didn't they make like
He's one
like
of
500 of him?
yeah.
Yeah, or something like that.
But then Sunstorm and Ghost Starscream, you buy other figures.
That, yeah, that's what
put
that
together
do.
pieces.
I love that. I love building.
Have they released the Slipstream, the female Seeker yet?
No,
for that? Because I've seen.
That's out in next year, so I'm waiting on that.
I agree though with
So-
your statement with third party. Like it's like even that, like that there's builder figure parts. Like it's pretty cool. Like it gives you an incentive to buy the full collection and set. Like
I
And
just
even
find
having, like,
third-party
the-
stuff so much more interesting nowadays because you got all these different companies.
Yeah, all
really
competing
sort of
with
just
each
doing
other.
Their own thing.
But even having the exclusivity of like, what is that? Acid Storm. It's like one of a series of like,
500.
500. So that's, I don't know, that makes it like, I don't know, in my eyes, that makes it so much more collectible. You know, it's like, well, there's only 499 of these in existence besides the one I've got sitting on my shelf. Like, you know, they don't do that with the official stuff. Like, well, I guess they do with, you know, some things, but like, yeah.
It does give it a bit more of a feeling of fanciness, but then you're also used to the fact that I just paid, $50 for a 3-inch figure.
that's all right.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some.
Hey,
But
what if you think it's worth it? That's it. I've paid $450 for an SH Figure Arts Vegeta. It's worth it to me. I don't regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a slight bit more extreme, but I know I
No,
paid
but-
like
Well,
I
that
paid
was
like
before
$230
that was
bucks.
back in the day before reissues or KOs or anything. So there was a logic to it.
Speaking of somebody who paid like $230 for a Marvel Legend one time. So
See, exactly. Like if if it's
sometimes you
justifiable
need to
for
go
you, that's all
overboard.
that matters. Like if you want it, get it.
I think I've pretty much funded John's, some of John's collection with the amount of stuff every time John decides to
selling
collect
all
something
my
else and
stuff.
gets rid of he gets rid of his old collection, I end up buying most of it. So, I think
Well,
all
what you
of
got?
my Chug Seekers,
Well, mine.
yeah, like just a whole bunch of Chugs. I bought a few because you had a Chug collection for a while, didn't you, John?
I had heaps of stuff at one stage. I was just buying everything like crazy.
Because I remember, like, I remember there was like 2 years ago or something. There was a stage where I'd go, oh yeah, I'll buy that, Chug Ramjet off you, and you'd be like, oh yeah, do you want Sunstorm as well? And I'd be like, yeah.
3 different ones. Or something. Here you go.
Yeah. Then you'd be like, yeah. Oh, I've got Thundercracker here. Do you need him? And I'd end up like going to buy one figure, and I'd end up like, walking away with like 10 guys that I
think
never
everyone did
intended to
that.
buy.
Brad's even bought figures off me for the club and stuff. Like, everyone's bought stuff off me.
Yeah, that's it. Crack dealer.
Chris, what have you done this year? What have you got in?
I think in general, I've I've sort of expanded a bit from the chugs. I've gone a bit into third party, and like the MP sort of stuff. But I think generally speaking, as a chug collector, Titan's Return has been a godsend. I've really enjoyed this line, and from what I've seen of Power of the Primes, I'm going to be sorry to see it go. So I'd say if I had to pick two releases that would be my favourites for 2017, the first one would probably be Titan's Return 6-shot leader class. Now, the one I've got here, I did talk about it a bit in the pre-show chat. This has got the Dr. Wu upgrade kit. So basically, all it is the Dr. Wu kit. The normal 6-shot comes with a really sort of bulky, epoxy-looking helmet. The Dr. Wu has like a replacement for it that's basically much more show accurate. So he looks like,
Oh yeah.
used to look like.
The helmet just goes over
also-
top the same as the Soundwave and Blaster and all that.
That's right,
figure?
Yeah.
The figure itself is, I've got nothing bad to say about Titan's Return 6-shot. We did mention it briefly in the pre-show chat, but he's basically that good old Titan's Return thing of it's G1 as far as looks and personality and colors and everything and aesthetics go, but he's just modernized, updated, like he's got joints. He can actually, he actually looks, actually looks more like what he's supposed to look like when he's, a tank or a jet or something like that, and even as a robot. Now the Dr. Wu upgrade is really cool. I recommend it to anybody who's got the Titan's Return 6-shot or is looking to get him, because normally you just get a couple of guns with him, but they've got those really annoying cavities in him for the Titan Master gimmick, so the Titan Master can sit in the guns. But the Dr. Wu upgrade kit actually puts, you can clip in these little scopes into the guns, so they just look like normal laser guns, like instead of these weird,
with the big empty,
gimmicky things. Yeah, big empty slot things. He also comes with these badass swords. And there's a few cool little things. They've got like
which come in so many different figures. They're like almost like swords that I'm going to paint with. So you don't know.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they look very much like the Hexatron. Yeah,
that's what they
very
are.
much like the Hexatron swords. I think that's even the I don't know if it's Chinese or Japanese, but there's a symbol on the sword there. I think it's a symbol for 6. Just cool little things like that. They also give you like clips so that when he's got his swords or his guns or whatever, you can holster. Like there's weapon storage clips for the back and stuff, which I'm a sucker for weapon storage, so that's pretty cool. But generally speaking, just to round it all off nicely, just out of all the figures I've gotten this year, like this guy he's the one I keep picking up again and looking at and going, man, that's cool, like I've always wanted him to do a new official 6-shot. I've got the MMC Hexatron, third party has done a good job at keeping the character alive and everything, but I think I actually like this better than Hexatron, and I know that's a big call because Hexatron's MMC and they're known for their amount of detail and quality and everything, but there's something about this guy, he really does seem like he's just walked off the TV screen. Like he's just a really cool, cartoon accurate, great representation of the character, and he's just impressed me. I actually got him for my birthday in April, and I've had him since April, and I've had many other figures since then, but he's just the one that sticks out to me. And I've got Sky Shadow as well, and I've got Overlord on the way, the Takara one, so I'm getting all the Phase 6s, but out of all of them, I think he's the best. So that's 6-shot, and I think my other pick for this year is, and John was actually here when I unboxed this guy, so he knows how much I love him, but DNA Sasanu. Really nice. So he's basically, DNA is a new third-party company. One of the guys who started it actually used to work for MMC, doing some of the design work for him. So there's very similar themes in their sort of style and design work and
I'll
stuff.
admit I got to play around with one because Jared had one as well. They both came up and had one each. It's a great
we
figure.
both got him at the same time. Yeah, he's really nice. So he's basically DNA's sort of tried to corner the MP bludgeon because obviously bludgeon doesn't have an MP representation. But they've based it very heavily off the Revenge of the Fallen Voyager from the official line. But they've also sort of combined that with like, I don't know if you can see it there, but he's got his skull face there. That was actually a bonus from pre-ordering him. So only if you pre-ordered him, you get the sort of skeleton face. But what's cool is they've also got, as the normal face, I don't know if you can see that well, but it's kind of like a samurai mask.
Yeah.
So again, you know, I was saying before, I'm a sucker for the face swaps, but yeah, he's just he's MP quality, like to the point where I'm afraid to transform him.
He is a very technical figure. Like, it's not...
Yeah, I mean, there's intense articulation. Like, he's got swivels and joints everywhere. Like on every limb, he's got like, I mean, the fingers have 3 joints.
Oh wow!
On each finger.
You can literally get him doing the cross legs on the floor with the samurai sword. That's what I wanted to originally do, was get the MMC Hexatron and him, and then have them both sitting there, make a little shrine, like as if they're both, you know, like going to fight each other, but they're just. Like,
and he even comes with he even comes within the box. It's like one of those. I can't think of the word, but you know, in Japan they've got those paintings on the big sort of fold-out walls.
Yeah,
oil paintings.
One of them, yeah. But yeah, like it's kind of like you get chained.
No.
That's a kabuki painting.
You know what I mean? Like it's got one of these, and they deliberately give you that so that you can try and recreate that kind of like, you know, relaxing samurai kind of, you know, meditation sort of look or whatever, but because he is, you can tell that, you know, the guys behind DNA have that close MMC, because, you know, he quite easily sits next to MMC's Hexatron, like, and they look like they're part of the same set, you know, because it's very much the same sort of spirit behind it. But as far as 2017 goes, I mean, it's been the biggest year I've ever had as a collector. I've gotten so many new Transformers. I've been super lucky. I've hunted down grails. I've expanded certain collections to the point where I'm like, that's where I want it. I don't need any more, you know. So it's been a good year, but those are the two that have stood out that I've been really super stoked. I mean, I was also saying in the pre-show chat that I have a very strong indication that the big box sitting under my Christmas tree at the moment is actually Trypticon as well. So I think that would be a perfect cap off to a really good year of collecting Transformers, and also considering that most of the good ones for me have been from the Titans Return line. So what better way to...
You just need to combine Awards Victoria on now to stomp.
Got to recreate some scenes. Yeah. So that's me, guys. So
yeah, we've seen some images, production shots of that bludgeon a few times this year, and just what they've been able to do with the knees and hip joints just to make him sort of that posable, as John said before, sort of as legs crossed, samurai sitting on the ground, or even just kneeling.
His feet are actually like modelled.
That I own in Transformers that can do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's actually... Sorry, Max, go on.
It's the fact that he can pull off those poses with all the shit that's around.
I mean, okay,
you
put
don't
it
have
like
to
this,
make it
right?
look stupid or anything, or like all arched back. It still works.
Well, put it like this. I was talking about how the fingers have 3 joints each in each finger. His feet, the toes, actually separate.
The only other robot I can think that does that this year is Rodimus, Hot Rod, because of the fishing rod. You know, you can sit there.
Oh, yeah.
But like,
well, I mean, that guy, you can actually split. You can split his toes apart, Bludgeon's toes apart, so that if you want to have him in a certain pose, you can move toes up and down so that he can sort of lean a certain way.
Have
Like,
that
that's insane.
real-
I've never seen that on
When
anything.
Chris gets home, he can give him a foot rub after a hard
Yeah. Yeah. 'Cause there's ankle articulation. That's just super ankle articulation where you can have the ankle articulate, but then have it on the balls of his feet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
beast.
Another level. I think they've really, I don't know, it seems to be one of those releases where they seem to, because it's their first release, and I think the next one is just a repaint. They're just doing a Bonzitron version like they did with Revenge of the Fallen. But because it was their first release, you can tell they threw everything they had into it, but they also got a bit experimental, and I think they wanted to make waves with it. And it's just one of those cases where it actually worked. Like toe articulation, like who even cares about that? And like now that it's, like it's cool, it works, and it makes it so much easier to pose, and it just generally makes it a much better figure than what you're normally used to. So yeah, it's definitely made DNA a new company that I'm going to be watching like a hawk, because even the repaint, the Bonzitron one, they've got like a face swap for him and stuff, and he looks awesome. So I'm hoping they sort of start branching out and making more releases, and it doesn't just fizzle out, because what they've done so far is incredible.
Lovely. John, what about you? What have you been? What's your?
No, it's tough. I've been thinking about it, trying to think while also trying to listen to all your guys' figures and that. Like, some good points, and like 2017's been a brutal year for me for collecting. Like, there's so many good things that have come out, like in other lines as well. So it's like taking a look back, it's even hard to think. But like the Shattered Prime, I mean, as much as I'm disappointed with the quality of it, I was really impressed that Hasbro actually properly released the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, which I can still grab just here, which it's just good to see that they finally acknowledged it. And that's it. Like, the KO, there's some people that think the KO looks better, and to a degree, like certain bits of it does, but like I still just love the purple.
He does look cool.
I like the fact that it's evil, like it's got the nice little crack in the window and stuff. But yeah, he's just like, I don't dare try to move him because he just takes forever for me to then pose him again, and that's what sucks. Like I've physically owned every single like iteration of MP10, like whether it be Hasbro or Takara, so I've played with all of them. And yeah, this one's just by far feels the worst, but I still love it. So that would probably be the best Hasbro figure, I think. But Titan's Return, all those Power Master Primes figures and that, like I'm so happy to still see them, and see where it's come to. Like it's still really good for the hot, for the hobby and collectors and stuff. So like seeing how there's now this the Combiner Wars show and the Titans Returns show, and then it'll be the Power of the Primes. Like it is good to see this once again in our lifetime, like to finally see G1 figures, or what's close to the G1, and that's it. The toys look like that on the show, so that's a really big step, And
it looks like we'll be getting more of that with next cartoon as well.
So. Cyberverse, yeah,
it's just
so like that's will be interesting, but otherwise it'd have to be probably the Platinum Edition Unicron, because we all know I love Unicron. So sure, I've got 5 of them or whatever now.
Did you get it online, or did you get that from a local retail?
Oh, we got that from the name we shall not speak.
Okay. Enough said.
Yeah, but so I got that at a decent price, and it came actually when it came out. So credit where credit's due for that time. But yeah. But yeah, there's this year. There's so many good figures. I couldn't I was saying off before we're online. Obviously, the Power Glide, the DX9 Power Glide, and just the box of that is even really cool. Like all the sort of propaganda, like military, slogan and stuff. Like it's the old school writing. Yeah, and just to see, I guess.
Is it just me, or is third party really stepping up their box game? Honestly, some of the boxes that
that's
even
how they get you.
Yeah.
But
let's face it, we order these things when we see like teaser shots and stuff.
I
You know,
hadn't
long
actually
before.
seen the box. Like I saw the figure long before the box and bought it anyway.
That's what I mean. Is we see the figure and we decide then and there. Okay, I'm going to buy that or I'm not or whatever. By the time we get the figure, the box is, you know, it's either here nor there. It's just something it comes in. But I've noticed like the last couple of third-party purchases I
No
bought.
pun intended. I do enjoy a nice box. Like,
I think that pun was very much intended.
That's why the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime, like, it actually also came in a really nice box. Like, for a while, I was actually thinking, oh, should I just leave it in its box because it has like one of those windows that opens up, and then the window that it was displayed in even had a big crack going through it, like the windscreen.
Oh, cool.
So, like, you know, like, and you think there's just as many collectors that collect in box, like they leave it in the box. So to have a nice box, like, you know, like looking like that, like where you can put it on a few different sides and it's a completely different picture, then like that's great. Where Masterpiece, it's like you do only have really the front or the side. Like, you're not going to do the top or the bottom or the back, like, you know, unless you're just so backwards that you think that's cool. Like, but normally you can at least like put them sideways or forwards, you know. So
that's what I like about the new movie deluxes, the last night deluxes. The fact that like they're actually like enclosed in a box and not in like a blister pack now. Like, I don't know, like as silly as it sounds, like that's not wasted on me. I like getting like something in a pack, you know, like, and being able to like, yeah, sure, you can see it in the plastic and everything, but like, I don't know, it just makes it feel legit, I guess. Yeah, it's not just something you just rip off the cardboard and, you know.
Except if it's like the last night deluxes where they give you a shitty box and then add $5 onto the price.
Like, that's why I only bought Barricade.
Like my favorite, like, you know, through all the collecting now, and like some companies are now starting to switch on where others unfortunately aren't, but the box isn't sealed. You know what I mean? Like, even from like leaving the factory, like the way that the box is done, and say like Generation Toys, like if you bought any of the you know, Gravity Builder, so it's like a nice sort of almost jewelry-like box, like the lid slides all the way on the top over it, and then they've just got a cardboard like sleeve that like slides over it, and then that's what's put in the box. Like, there is no plastic seal or anything. So, you know, like, and that's really good for, you know, a proper collector, because then you can, as long as you maintain that box is mint, everything's mint, you don't touch that figure, but you put it out and it's in a case, like, you can put it back in there and say, man, brand new, never used. No one's going to know. Like, and I'll admit, I'm sure. No, I'm not saying that in a dodgy way. Like, I'm sure it goes, like, you know, other people will go, oh, it's never been used, but you can see that the box looks like it's, you know, 3 years old or something. It's like, clearly, man,
story of my life.
But there's people that manage to keep stuff like in a box, and they really have put the box away. It is mint condition, you know, like, and that's why I like that sort of stuff. But yeah, like you're saying, you have it in a blister pack. Well, no matter what, you're not putting it back in there. Like you're chopping that or cutting it, or no matter what, you're damaging that packet to get that figure out, and that it does sort of suck. Like I think make the boxes so you can get it out, and then everyone's happy. You know, you can't lose value.
You only have those rare exceptions like the Mech Ideas Twin Twist and Top Spin, where they actually, it's a bubble, but you sort of slide the bubble off the card, and then you can just put it right back on.
Oh yeah, sweet. Like, I haven't seen that, but like,
I wouldn't mind that if that was more widespread. But yeah, just a sort of bubble on a card. I mean, it means you can't repackage your figure at all.
Yeah.
I just don't like, one thing I've had a problem with, and I just noticed it when I pulled out that DNA Bludgeon Sasanu out of the box, is I mean, that's really nicely packed, and it's, you know, it's plastic with a plastic shield that goes over it, and then you got your cardboard thing, and then it slides into the box like a traditional kind of box, you know. But and it's the same problem I have with the look, because I'm
Generation Toys. It was just foam, nice cut foam, perfectly cut for the vehicle in that box, slid down. Like,
well, what annoys me about it is like, I'm moving house in January, right? So I've been packing up most of my collection, and the thing that annoys me about a lot of these box designs and packaging designs is they've got like little slots for the accessories. The moment you move the box around, they fall out of those slots, and yeah, it really pisses me off because there's so many things. I'm like, where the fuck is his sword?
Like eight of the 10 bits sit in there loosely, like hands, but the gun has to pop in, and so you pop the gun in, and all the hands go whoa and jump out of the box. You stupid thing.
And then you got to go around looking on the floor for like one little thing that's if you lost it you'd. Yeah, no, it's annoying, and I think I've just resorted now to doing this, just little Sealy bags, just whatever accessories, just chuck them in there, because they never stay, and I really don't like the idea of on a $200 third party figure, one of the accessories just rattling around in the bottom underneath everything. It's kind of annoying.
When you pay that money.
That's it, man. You want perfection. You want those accessories to store themselves and then come out when you command them to for that kind of money. You clap your hands and they march out in unison. Like. Can't win them all.
Oh. Yeah, that's all right. I'll dart through as quick until I picked up a few of the RID Legends stuff. Warrior class stuff last week. I'd had it on lay-by for a little while. I thought they were this year released, but they weren't on the list I just seen, so won't go into them. The little RID Cyclonus.
That's sick.
Cool.
A lot of the Legend stuff that come out this year for the end of Combiner Wars and going into Tide's Return, whether it's Wheelie, Brawn, all these little guys, they're really poseable, and they're nice little detailed figures. And
that looks really cool.
I've actually been on the hunt for that one. I haven't seen him on the shelves because I've got the
Coles $5
Galvatronus set. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing is there's always Bumblebee, there's always little Grimlocks or whatever, but I've never seen that Cyclonus. Because I've got all the other ones of him. Like I've got the Galvatronus warrior-sized one and all that, but I want that one because from what I've seen, for a little Legion class figure, he looks amazing.
Yeah, and you're not gonna see the detail, but just in the face and that as well. Like
that's awesome.
He's got some real nice detail, and again, see, like he's got the ankle fold and back pivot. He doesn't have the sidewards.
For a Legends figure, though, that's it. It's awesome.
Yeah. I could have sworn Primal was this year, but
he was MP Primal.
Yeah, it wasn't on that list. I was saying only Cheetor was, but
oh wow!
I think
Primal was this year, wasn't it? It was the beginning of the year, but I'm certain he came out this year.
You can't argue with the list, man.
Well,
we got the Supreme Commander Primal this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happens when you go after Sabertron for info. I think the Make Toys Hellfire and Wrestle I've got this year, which are both fantastic toys. I got my Masterpiece Scale Jetfire, which was Kronos, not the Fans Toys one. I'd love to play with the Fans Toys one, just see if it's got the same weight as what the
is that the Phoenix?
Yeah,
Phoenix or whatever it's called.
Yeah. There was one in Melbourne. I should have bloody played down there.
Actually, Inferno was another good one to mention. Like, it was good to finally see an MP car, like an MP bot bigger than,
Yeah. Yep. And going into 2018, my biggest anticipation for next year is Masterpiece Dinobot. I've got the money down that. I can't wait to get it.
No, it's going to be
looking forward to that.
On sea spray and power glide and everything.
I just want that Power of the Primes, Rodimus Chronos. That
what was Bill's theory?
Nemesis.
Three companies do with the figure, and then it comes out. And I'm sure that there's been 3 power glides now. That's the third one.
Well, there's a list. You're behind the the grapples, the Infernos.
There's a few sea sprays, whatever. So
yeah. So that's all right. I suppose lastly too, will be released for the audio listeners on Christmas Day. What's under the Christmas tree?
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Anything expecting under the tree? I know you've got the Triptychon. You're hoping it's Triptychon.
And if you didn't get any presents, remember, I still love you.
Well,
Thanks, Sean.
I
No worries.
got to say, I would bet money this is a Triptychon. I basically kind of know, but I don't, if that makes sense.
He opened it
But-
up, means.
It's a full
He's
size toaster.
But I'm also, I told you I was a lucky boy because Jared, my plastic crack dealer, he's just got in hand Octone, Titan's Return, and Blitzwing to go with my Astro Train. So, you know me, I like my trios, I like my little sets, and I've been looking forward to getting all three of the triple changes for a while. So yeah, he's hoping to get them to me this weekend, so that'll be a nice little Christmas bonus. But obviously the big dog, I mean, yeah, Triptychon's gonna. I've heard from what I've seen, like the sticker application takes a lot of time and effort and patience.
Oh
and
my god.
It's like, from what I've seen, it's the worst yet out of anything. That's third party or otherwise. Like, it's the most intense. It's a challenge.
Stickering for
it's a feat of
days.
strength. Yeah, that's.
Nah, stickers suck. I hate stickers. You know the amount of Gundam stickers I've got sitting here. Like, the trick is, if you ever
I'm
get
a
a figure
really
with stickers,
impatient guy.
don't ever put it aside and go, I'll do that later. Because the second you buy a second figure with stickers, then it piles up and then it just gets out of control.
Oh yeah, I've still got Generation Metroplex and Fort Max are sitting here with their sticker sheets not applied.
Yeah, see?
I just don't bother. Like, I gave up after Generations Roadbuster.
You don't sticker either?
Yeah.
Like, so what? Have you got Fort Max and Metroplex Max?
Yeah, I've got Fort Max. I've got MPs that just don't
And
have
so-
stickers on them.
Yeah? Wow.
It's not true not wanting to do it. It's just, okay, I need 3 hours to sit
Okay,
down.
but
and
yeah, so
sticker.
the MPs I agree with, though. Like, I don't sticker up all those rally
Yeah.
stickers on,
The cars,
old-
yeah.
the cars, and I don't put those all the Navy stickers and stuff on the Seekers. Like, God no.
Yeah.
Leave all them mint. But yeah, like Metroplex Fort Max, I was like, yeah, they need stickers.
I
Yeah.
think more so with Metroplex, I left him because I was wanting to sort of
It's
give him
just
a
too-
wash.
He's too. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
he's
just
too
to-
plain without stickers.
Yeah. So you know you want to sort of put that wash over the stickers to dull them as well, but
Just a big Caucasian robot.
But is it too much? I don't know. This may sound poxy, but is it too much to ask that if you're paying that much money for a Titan class figure, Hasbro, Takara, put the friggin' stickers
Right,
on for me.
right.
I don't need to do that.
Okay, so just for argument's sake, I've got the Arcadia SDF1 coming, which I paid $450 for, and that's without shipping. And yeah, you still got to put the stickers on it, man. So
but then
But that's my point.
You can maybe start complaining, but you're only paying $200.
that's-
So
But that's the
what it
thing,
is.
is even so, you can compare it and
But
fluctuate
that's why
the
it's
prices
because
there.
they make you do
But-
it because they know how hard it is. And if then
Yeah.
the QC's poor, you can complain. Where you put it on, well, you can't complain.
No,
But that's it.
gonna
It shouldn't
suck.
be.
It's
That's my
like,
point.
you fuck it up, and that's you've ruined the stickers on a $450 figure.
It does. Yeah, I know. Like, trust me. Like, what's worse is this sticker they have to go on. Like, these stickers have to go on it. So yeah.
But then you look at the official release ones. You look at like the data cards, the laser beacon that come out for Combiner Wars, where the stickers are sort of peeling. Even now, you look at the production shots for that Starscream and Elita 1, those jets that are coming out for Power the Primes, and the stickers are already curling up on joints.
And that's cheap stickers. Like like there is definitely 3 companies I've seen. Like Bandai now make pretty decent stickers on their Gundams. Like you stick that on and it's on there. Like unless you're putting it in sunlight for a long time. Like I've got Gundams that are 4 or 5 years old and they've still got a sticker on them, and they've been moved several houses and stuff.
Yeah, but like the upcoming Power the Primes Seekers, you can I'm not going to put the stickers on, and just have their base colors so you know who's who.
Yeah, that's right.
Whereas now they're going to come with stickers, so if they start peeling, you eventually got to peel them off. Even if you repro label to get new stickers, you still got to peel the old ones off, and you've got all that baggage to deal with.
Yeah, no, it's difficult.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Good fun with stickers. All right, that'll do us. We should have just done this as a regular show, not off the shelf. for the rails because we've
Rush
talked
out
all-
and buy stickers, everyone.
we've talked Transformers for the whole lot. So the last night praise bashing might have to wait until next week.
Yeah, good. You've already given me enough spoilers tonight.
Yeah, I think you might mean The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I was gonna. Why do you have one on? Okay. Well, there is the comparison there, but we shall get to that at a later time.
Not today. Not today.
A certain character pulls a Starscream in it. I hear. If you get.
Oh, let's not start this, all right? We're trying to gloss over this.
You're not getting me started, right?
I love it because I'm not really into Star Wars, so I love stirring people. It's great.
Yeah.
Before,
Speaking as someone who is really into Star Wars, fuck that movie.
Hey,
Okay.
I've still followed him in that, like, but yeah, like, I have to.
I am into Star Wars, but yeah, it's. I mean, that is a can of worms. That's not a can of worms. That's a friggin' bucket of snakes. That one, like, seriously, how much time have you boys got? Let's leave it for another time.
don't worry, JJ will right the ship.
I like snakes and I like buckets.
Phasma will come back in the ninth one and be the new Snoke.
If you actually pay attention, I'm not going to tell you which scene, but there's a Disney princess in the background.
Oh,
Under the sea.
Oh, legit.
I hope it was
Legit.
Jasmine because she was a fox.
I'm not going to answer that. You'll have to go watch and find out.
All right, thanks, guys. We're going to get it before we say too much. Thanks for listening. Unless we get any news stories, we might just come back for a bit of a yapper next week as well.
I'll just ramble on for a few hours after this by myself, and we'll just have that as footage.
You do that when the camera's not even on, so.
John's going to spend a few hours talking at his details.
There's always a camera on somewhere.
Oh, grab that tinfoil hat.
You can catch us all over at the Transformers Collectors Club of Australia Facebook group. The website for this podcast is attached to Australian Transformers Weekly, which is at transformersweekly.podbean.com. And you can find out everything about Transformers Collectors Club Australia over at transformerscca.com. Guys, thank you for joining me tonight on this day of Christmas. Almost. Those listening will be.
Getting there.
It's been an honor serving you guys.
Yep,
Happy
it's been a
Hanukkah.
good year. And we'll be back sometime soon.
Bye.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Bye.
We can say goodbye now.
Goodbye now.
Sayonara.
I know.
No, he said say goodbye now.
Are we
Thank
still
you.
live?